This is PSN Newsrun, streaming exclusively on YouTube.
Hello and welcome to PSN Newsrun. The headlines: Nationwide doctor strike cripples hospitals, leaves patients stranded. Satellite images expose massacre in Sudan's Darfur. Okocha links Super Eagles' decline to 2002 team disbandment. Stay with us for details. Nigeria's healthcare sector is under strain as resident doctors across the country begin a nationwide strike. Hospitals are struggling with staff shortages, leaving patients stranded and urgent medical services disrupted. Here's Joycelyn with the full details.
Since November 1st, resident doctors across Nigeria have downed tools, causing major disruption in public hospitals as the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors (NARD) presses the government to meet long-standing demands. NARD says it has completed everything within its mandate to avert industrial action, yet it claims the government has neglected its 19-point list of demands. These include outstanding salary arrears, implementation of the consolidated medical salary structure, full release of the medical residency training fund, improved working conditions, and ending what they call systemic casualization of training doctors. Hospitals in cities like Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt are reporting that emergency and outpatient departments are barely functioning. At several tertiary institutions, wards are closed, surgeries postponed, and dozens of patients transferred to private care at greater cost. Reports indicate that the number of resident doctors, who are often form the backbone of hospital service delivery, is already greatly reduced. The Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare says the government has engaged NARD under a collective bargaining agreement framework launched in August 2025. Ministerial sources say that about 21.3 billion naira has been released towards arrears, and key issues such as salary structure and consultant cadre appointments are under independent review. However, NARD says those payments are only partial and won't end the strike unless all demands are met. They say genuine dialogue must replace piecemeal promises. As the strike continues, the health sector stands at a tipping point, with lives and hospital systems under strain. Whether the government and doctors can find common ground soon will determine just how deep the crisis becomes. Joycelyn Ella Keche Ada, PS News.
The Nigerian military has introduced a new rule barring its officers from marrying foreigners or naturalized citizens, a move aimed at tightening internal security and preserving the integrity of the armed forces. Let's join Miriam for the full report.
Under the newly revised Harmonized Terms and Conditions of Service 2024, military personnel are now prohibited from marrying anyone who is not Nigerian by birth. The policy also restricted commissioned officers from marrying non-commissioned members such as soldiers, ratings, or airwomen. Defense insiders say the directive was born out of national security concerns to prevent potential leaks of classified information and ensure officers' loyalty remain uncompromised. Marriages to foreigners, they argued, could expose personnel to espionage risks or divided loyalties, especially in sensitive postings. Beyond the security angle, the rule also aims to maintain discipline and professional boundaries within the ranks, preventing conflicts of interest or power imbalance that could arise when officers marry subordinates. While some officers have described the law as restrictive, others see it as a necessary safeguard in a time of growing cross-border threats and intelligent vulnerabilities. As the military enforces the new rule, the debate over how to balance personal freedom with national security continues to stir up quiet discussions within the barracks. Marianne Awoya, PS News.
Satellite images reveal a deadly massacre in Sudan's Darfur region, where UAE-backed RSF fighters allegedly killed thousands, leaving scenes of horror visible even from space. Joycelyn filed in this report.
The world has been shown shocking new evidence of mass killings in El Fasher, Sudan, where satellite imagery reveals piles of bodies and blood-stained ground following the takeover of the city by the Paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, RSF. Satellite photos taken in late October 2025 and analyzed by the Humanitarian Research Lab at Yale University show clusters of human-sized objects believed to be dead bodies and reddish soil discoloration consistent with large-scale bloodshed in multiple locations across El Fasher. Researchers also identified RSF Armored Vehicles Information Association with door-to-door clearance operations. The massacre followed the RSF's capture of the city on October 26, marking the fall of the last major stronghold of the Sudan Armed Forces in western Darfur. Analysts estimate that thousands of civilians, particularly non-Arab ethnic groups such as the Masali, Fo, and Zangawa, were killed, many in summary executions. Eyewitnesses tell of men separated from families, shot while fleeing, and bodies piling up along roads and hospital grounds. One satellite image shows what appears to be a mass grave near a former children's hospital turned detention center. The RSF, which evolved from the notorious Janjaweed militia of the early 2000s, is accused of ethnic targeted violence. The UN and human rights group warned that the scale and pattern of the killings may constitute genocide, especially given the communications blackout in the region. As global scrutiny intensifies and aid agencies push for access, Sudan's humanitarian situation teeters on the brink, but the world's next moves may determine whether justice or impunity marks these tragic events. Joycelyn Ella Keche Ada, PS News.
Nigerian football legend JJ Okocha has blamed the disbandment of the 2002 AFCON squad for the Super Eagles' decline, while signaling he could take a leadership role in the Nigerian Football Federation under the right conditions. Let's join our sports correspondent Sam for this exclusive report.
Nigerian football legend JJ Okocha sparked fresh debate, blaming the decline of the Super Eagles on the disbandment of the 2002 African Cup of Nations team. Speaking on the Exchange podcast with Femi Sonaye, Okocha described the 2002 squad as the weakest he ever played for. He explained that the abrupt overhaul, which dropped nearly 70% of key players, led to a loss of team identity and the end of Nigeria's homegrown advantage.
Before then, we had players that had played in the national team for years and then retire, and then others
take over from them. But
that transition didn't happen. They disbanded the team, and then almost 70% of the team left. So I think from that time onwards, but of course, don't get me wrong, we've had great players over the years. We've had players that have won tournaments also for Nigeria, but that consistency, that's
lacking.
Yeah, we don't win games with conviction anymore. We've lost that fear factor. Before, nations used to be scared to play Nigeria.
Okocha also expressed readiness to serve in the NFF, provided structural support and proper conditions are in place, a lesson learned from his tenure as Delta State FA chairman, where he personally funded association activities.
I'm a junkie when it comes to football. I'm a big, forget about me playing for Nigeria, I'm one of Nigerians' biggest fans. That was why, part of the reasons why I moved back home, to show that I'm from a good place too. Forget about the image that they portray out there sometimes, So, I mean, if we get to the level that we have to come out and say that enough is enough, we've seen enough, why not?
Okay, so the answer to this is
it's possible.
You never know. You never know what
and you
will
should
happen.
add to that if he was made the NFF president,
yes,
what would he do different?
Yes.
I'm a football person. It's my focus will be us getting results.
Okay.
You know, it's a result business, you know, and people forget that if the team is not winning, if the team is not doing well, then you're not doing well.
A celebrated international star, Okocha earned 73 caps, 14 goals, and played in 3 World Cups. His legendary career spanning leagues from the Nigerian Professional Football League to Europe top competition has inspired players such as Mesut Ozil and Ronaldinho. Okocha's insight highlights both the challenge facing the Super Eagles and the potential for leadership to turn things around. This is Samuel Akban for PS News.
And with that sports report, we wrap up the bulletin. I am Uluwatosin Deba. Good evening.
You just watched PSN Newsrun, streaming exclusively on YouTube. This is your trusted voice for news that matters. Subscribe, like, share, and stay informed.